Black Ops 6 has had plenty of leaks in the last week or so, and honestly, it's kind of wild to me how much came out of that, basically revealing the entirety of the multiplayer and its systems. So today, as a part of the continued coverage, I wanted to break down fully the create a class options that we'll have here and systems in place for you, recreating and breaking down things so you know exactly what's going on and are in the loop for everything regarding Black Ops 6. So as we go along, drop your thoughts down below. What do you think of these leaked items for create a class? Like what you see? Do you like how we're kind of reverting back away from some of the UI elements and things? Whatever the case, let me know. But if you enjoyed the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 6. We've got a lot of stuff upcoming here in the next couple of weeks. We have campaign gameplay being showcased at Gamescom in a couple of weeks. Then we have at the end of the month, COD Next, and the full multiplayer reveal with everything being broken down, plus then jumping into the beta. So if you want to stay on top of all that coverage and more FPS content, I'd love to have in the community. But for now, let's take a look at what we learned here of the create a class out of this last week or so of leaks. So layout wise, we ended up seeing one nice part, I think, in terms of just ease of use, is the vertical layouts are once again going to be present, not only in menus, but also in-game as well. The in-menu create a class system before we jump into a game has a bit more focus on some vertical elements rather than horizontal as well, where of course currently you have that sort of attachments around the gunsmith, but then whenever you go into whatever attachment classification it is, everything's listed in this long horizontal list. That's not the case anymore. That's something that does mirror a little bit more of Black Ops Cold War, where you have the classifications of attachments horizontally on the bottom, but when you actually go in to select your attachment, that's where it mimics sort of Black Ops Cold War in prior games where it's a vertical listing of attachments rather than just one long horizontal line. Now, as for what these look like in-game, here's a mock recreation of what it looks like to hit start and pull up your create a class. Again, this is not an official in-game screenshot. Those are going to be taken down basically instantly. They've been striking everything down from what I've seen, but a recreation of what this looks like in practice is what you'd see on screen. But this video isn't really meant to focus just solely on UI or anything like that. Let's talk about the content of what you can see in create a class, what your options will be for creating whatever loadout you want to in multiplayer. So firstly, let's talk about these primary and secondary weapons based off of what has already been confirmed from the Black Ops 6 Direct and what we've seen leaked throughout this gameplay out of the last week or so. For the confirmed weapons that we learned about at the Black Ops 6 Direct, you have the Ames 85, which is an assault rifle, the Jackal PDW SMG, the XM4 making a return, an assault rifle there, the Marine SP shotgun, the Compact 92 SMG, the 9mm PM handgun, the LR762 sniper rifle, and of course the combat knife as your melee. You have that dedicated melee slot this year within Black Ops 6, which is a cool addition, I think. But as for the leaked stuff we learned about further from this gameplay, again, not pulling from leaks that we've talked about of larger listings of the overall weapon lists or whatever, out of what we saw explicitly this past week, we ended up seeing the AK-74 assault rifle, the C9 SMG, the Tonto 22 SMG, the XMG LMG, the SWAT 556 marksman rifle, the DM10 marksman rifle, the SVD sniper rifle, the GS45 handgun, and the Sigma 2B launcher. Now, of course, there are going to be more weapons, that's a given, but that's the stuff that we ended up seeing a leak out on top of what we already saw confirmed through official channels. Going a bit further into what create a class has on offer, out of these leaks, we learned about all our lethals, tacticals, and field upgrades. The lethals, you'll end up having the frag grenade, Semtex, thermo grenade, blast trap, which is a planted explosive device that detonates when an enemy comes near it, essentially a bouncing Betty, and your combat axe. Your tacticals will include a concussion grenade, flashbang, stim shot, a proximity alarm, which will set off 2 sticky alarms that ring and flash when an enemy is near. Tripped alarms will show on allied minimaps as well. So something that actually has some pretty decent benefits there with that. And then you have the decoy grenade, which simulates footsteps and gunfire sounds as you'd see normally. As for your field upgrades, you have a few that are returning and a few that are new. Your assault pack is one, of course, deploying ammunition for you and your teammates. Trophy system, blocking incoming explosives and projectiles. Neurogas, which is a deployed trap that will emit a neurotoxic gas cloud, causing severe hallucinations and disorienting and damaging enemies. So kind of seems like a gas grenade, but in a field upgrade form that does a little bit more. As for what those hallucinations do, that's just something we don't know right now. That sounds rather interesting and does play, of course, into like the Black Ops messing with your mind themes. You have the acoustic amp, which is a personal audio amplifier that makes enemy footsteps louder for a duration of time. Seems like this is the awareness perk of prior Call of Duty games, but in field upgrade format. And then Sleeper Agent is that one that everybody's talking about that is going to be really interesting here at this, because you infiltrate the enemy team, appearing as a friendly to them for a short duration. So that disguise that we had from DMZ back in Modern Warfare 2 and kind of in the sort of same fashion in Modern Warfare Zombies where you can infiltrate the AI, this will now be a field upgrade you can use. I don't quite know how I feel about this one. There is a perk that does counter this, but gotta be a little interesting to see how this works and to what degree it's nerfed, if it is something that even makes the launch version of the game. We'll have to wait and see. But as for your perks, moving down further in that sort of creative class options, you have the Enforcer, Recon, and then Strategist perk classifications, your specialties as they call it. We'll touch on that in a second, of course, but that's all recap with combat specialties. As for your Enforcer perks, you'll have Assassin, Scavenger, Bruiser, which will allow melee kills and finishing moves to replenish health and earn extra score, Dexterity, Gung-Ho, Double Time, and a new perk called Bankroll, where you start each life with 150 score towards score streaks. So kind of like your hard line of prior years, but not something we've seen in the last 2 years or so in the inclusion of the COD HQ. As for your recon perks, you have Ninja, Ghost, which is the version here that is going to require you to be moving, which is definitely nice. You have Tracker, Engineer, Forward Intel, which is going to increase that minimap area and show the direction indicators for revealed enemies. Vigilance is a new perk that is combining a couple of different aspects from prior perks that we've also seen, where it's going to display a HUD icon whenever you appear on enemy minimaps, kind of like a high alert. It makes you immune to counter UAV and scramblers, and also the important part is it makes you immune to the Sleeper Agent field upgrade. So coming back to that one, this might be a pretty powerful perk to have. And then you have Cold-Blooded, which works just how it has in the past. As for your strategist perks, you have Flak Jacket, Tac Mask, Dispatcher, which will reduce score costs for non-lethal score streaks, and stacks with Bankroll, so it is something that makes it a hardline and maybe like a hardline pro if you want to end up having both those active. Fast Hands, Quartermaster, which recharges equipment over time, like in Black Ops Cold War. Gearhead, which allows you to have 2 field upgrade charges. It increases that charge rate, and you can hack equipment and field upgrades, along with booby trapping care packages. So again, a couple of different perks rolled into that one. And then you have Guardian, which allows for faster healing while capturing and holding objectives. You can also revive down teammates faster, so that might be something that comes in handy with Warzone. If there's a game mode that allows you to end up having downed enemies in multiplayer, that'll come in handy. But that is your perks. Of course, those being your combat specialties means that if you have 3 of those same combat specialties all active, there is going to be a perk agreed, so you can end up having more than 3 perks and then subsequently then 5, but 3 of the same perks in the same category offer those specialties, which gives bonus abilities. Your Enforcer, you kill enemies, it grants a temporary buff to your movement speed and health regeneration. Recon, enemies can be seen through walls for a short time after respawn with a HUD edge indicator like High Alert, showing you when an enemy is outside of your view, and you leave no death skulls when killing enemies. Strategist, you earn score bonuses for objectives and destroying enemy content. You can also see that enemy content through walls for a short distance while deploying field upgrades and equipment faster. The only other thing that goes into these classes that you'll create are, of course, your wildcards. You'll have Overkill, Gunfighter, and Perk Agreed. Overkill allowing you to equip another primary weapon, Gunfighter giving you 3 more attachments, upwards of 8 for your primary weapon, and then Perk Agreed allowing you to take a 4th perk, still, of course, utilizing that specialty feature, just offering the ability to take a 4th perk that you can end up having something outside of that specialty category if you want to. But those are the wildcards that we know right now. Personally, I would love to see something like an underkill. I think that when you're really grinding out camos at any point during the year, having the ability to tackle 2 secondaries is a really big help. Now, granted, the melee is going to be a dedicated slot, so that kind of takes away one of the sort of the scenarios where that would be useful. But I mean, you could still tackle your pistols while doing launchers, perhaps, or something like that. That could be something that's still beneficial. But anyways, that's the stuff that we know of for Create a Class and everything that goes into it with Black Ops 6. Now, it seems like we'll also, right out of the gate, be able to create upwards of 10 classes. Based off of some of the leaked footage, it showed the ability to add a Create a Class beyond just those first default 5, which is curious to consider given that Prestige has historically offered more Create a Class slots, incentivizing that Prestige. But if that's not the case, I'm curious what will take its place in Prestige then. And also, the firing range is going to be returning, though unfortunately looking like a retrofitted version of what we have now in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. Just a singular lane with 3 dummies at like 25, 50, and 75 meters, or whatever it turns out to be that it's there right now. But same thing, just thematically skinned a little differently. I was kind of hoping they'd flesh it out a little bit, making it a bit more worthwhile to go into, but it doesn't seem like that is going to be the case. But anyways, that's the leaks we learned about out of Create a Class here this past week, and it's kind of wild to me just how much did leak out here of this. I mean, we basically saw the entirety of the beta build that'll be coming later on in the month. So kind of wild to consider that was something that was front end done. That wasn't somebody that was like a disgruntled employee or something taking screenshots of the in development build at their workstation. This was something that was pushed out in an update from Activision to the COD HQ, that if somebody had something like a jailbroken PS4 or however it was accessed, you could just genuinely play the build. That's insane to me. That has never happened before to my knowledge, and so that is crazy that almost a month before the reveal for multiplayer, we saw just about everything leak out. So that said, that's where we're at here with all this kind of stuff. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you like what Create a Class has on offer from both a sort of foundational perspective and how it's formatted to the offering itself in terms of weapons, perks, combat specialties, wildcards, all that kind of stuff? Let me know your thoughts down below. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so it's a single thing running all things Black Ops 6 as we gear up for the campaign reveal, the multiplayer reveal, and the beta all coming later this month. So sticking here on the channel, I'd love to have you in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.